What's up everyone, this is Sean, your physical therapy application coach. In this video, I'll be referencing some worksheets that you can use to help make your application process as simple and efficient as possible. To get access to these free worksheets and receive my monthly newsletter, bonus, pause the video and click on the link in the description down below. It will take you to my website where you can sign up to join my email list. Also, if you find the information in my videos to be valuable, go ahead and click on that subscribe button so you can keep up to date when I post new content. Now, let me get out of your way so you can enjoy the video. All right, we're back going over each of these different sections: quantitative, verbal, analytical. We're going to break them down, talk about some effective ways to be able to study. So the quantitative section is, again, you're going to be going through basic high school math and problem solving. You're going to have a 4-function calculator. It's going to look exactly like this, and it doesn't do a whole lot. It's not very fancy. And the calculator stinks for a reason. The test makers want you to be able to be comfortable with estimating and doing math in your head. Another thing, a mistake that I made early on when I was practicing, is I was practicing with a fancy calculator, and a lot of the problems, I was like, I can just plug this into my scientific calculator and this is a piece of cake. But you're not going to have those functions on this calculator. So do yourself a favor and just practice with what you're going to be given. So the Khan Academy, if you haven't heard about them, they make all kinds of YouTube videos about how to do basically everything. It's about learning and helping people to be able to learn through videos. Khan Academy has created a free quantitative prep, and you can go through, find some areas that you're weak, and be able to watch some videos about tips and tricks on how you can do better. So I think it's a great resource. It's free. The link is provided for you, again, on that preparation worksheet that I've attached. Now, you're also going to be required to memorize basic geometric formulas. A lot of these you're probably going to remember right away, but it's going to take a minute to just become refamiliarized with them. So there's a lot of people who have done the work for you already. If you just go on Google and search Quizlet GRE geometric formulas or geometry formulas, there's going to be people who have already made flashcards that you can utilize for free, and you can just go through and be able to have those available to you. It's going to save you a lot of time, and it's a quick and easy way to be able to remember those formulas. And at the end of the day, there's no way around it. You've got to practice. You have to practice and become comfortable with doing these different kinds of problems. So the verbal section, you got to know your vocab. There's no way around it. Vocab and reading comprehension are going to be the most difficult things about the verbal. Reading comprehension probably more so, but vocab just requires that you prepare and take your time. Another section that's pretty easy is you're just going to be doing context clues, fill in the blank with the best word, but that's going to be a piece of cake. So another way that you can use Quizlet and the good graces of other people who have gone before you is to search in Google Quizlet, Barron, or Ubiquitous 800 high-frequency GRE words. People have those on there for you for free. Again, it's free. And you can just, on your phone, you can pull up Quizlet and be able to study these flashcards. So a life hack that I used, and it helped me a lot, was I didn't like sitting down and just looking at flashcards. I decided I was going to use my time in between classes when I was walking to and from class, while I was going to the restroom, or while I was eating, just to sit there and to go through flashcards. And it was a great time saver because I'm already going to be doing those things anyway. I'm just adding my study time to this. There's also been some research around if you're walking or doing something else, it can help you recall words better. So 800 words, that sounds like a ton, but if you break it down over 66 days, which is 3 months of Monday to Friday, you're not even working on the weekends, I'm giving you a break. That's only 12 words a day, which in reality isn't that much. And I'll just say this because this is probably the ideal, but just knowing what the word means and being able to spit out a rote definition isn't as effective as I know what the word means and I could use it in a sentence. That's all I'm going to say. So reading comprehension is going to be tough because you'll get these big blocks of text and you need to be able to disseminate through that information quickly, figure out what's going on, and be able to answer the questions. This is a skill. And a lot of people, the stuff you're reading nowadays is like, if you're me, it's sports articles or some post on Facebook, maybe a news post or whatever. But being able to sit down and go through paragraphs of information and pull out details, it's a skill and it's something you just have to practice. Another way to practice it, if you don't want to just do it with a prep book, is to read books or read newspaper articles that have some actually higher level thinking information in them, and be able to ask yourself questions afterwards and see what your comprehension was. Okay, the analytical section. So, writing and argument formulation is a skill, and you have to practice. It's tough to be able to sit down cold turkey, look at someone's argument and say, this is logical or this isn't logical. It sounds easy, but writing about how it is or isn't in an objective way is actually pretty tough. That was the hardest thing for me, was not the analyze an issue, but the analyze an argument section. So something that in my research I found out that I didn't know before was you can look up the samples, the pool of topics that ETS is going to put on the GRE. You can look them up. They've published them. They're provided for you. These are the different topics that they pull. Now, does that mean you're going to write a practice essay for each of these? I mean, if you had a ton of time, I guess you could. But you can at least read through them and be familiar with the arguments and say, oh yeah, I've seen this one. I remember thinking about it and I like this and this about it. It just gives you a little bit of an advantage coming into the actual test. You also want to look up the samples that they've provided for you, because they'll give you some ideas about what things are actually good. What things are good to include in your essay, I should say. And I've provided those links for you as well. So the two areas, analyze an issue, analyze an argument. Again, I think analyzing an argument is more difficult than analyzing an issue, because analyzing an issue has been what we have done in school. There's also no grammar or spell check on the test. So you're going to have to make sure that you're on your game with your punctuation and your grammar, so that way you don't screw something up and sound less than intelligent. Okay, so now we have to have your GRE codes for schools, so that way you can send your scores to the PT schools and they verify the score that you'll input into PTCAS. So you can go on schools' websites and they may provide their averages or minimums on their specific page. That's great information to have. Each school has a unique code that you're going to send your scores to. I've provided you with the PTCAS link that has a little spreadsheet that has all of the different schools listed and all of their school specific code. You don't only want to go to PTCAS and look at this code, because you also want to verify it on their school specific website. Sometimes there's a discrepancy and they say, yeah, that's an old code. We don't really use that one anymore. We want you to use this one. So make sure that you have the right code, and we'll talk about why it's important to have your codes ready when you go take the test. So on test day, don't cram. You want to make sure that you're not stressed out, and you can briefly look over vocab or formulas, but don't overwhelm yourself. The next bullet point is pretty common sense. Any test that you take, you want to do that. The testing centers have lockers, so you can store your stuff in there, and you can't bring in anything with you except for maybe a pencil. I think they even give you the pencils, if I remember correctly, and the paper. And they pat you down. It's like more thorough than airport security. It's crazy. And you will have 7 sections to complete in the test, but only 6 of them are going to be scored. So you'll have the 2 for each of the 3 sections, and then you have 1 bogus section that basically is the ETS is sampling new questions that they can include in future tests, but you have no idea which section is the bogus one. So that one really threw me off because I was like, what? I have another section and I'm already exhausted? So just so you're prepared for that, there's another one. If you want to have your 4 school codes ready to send your scores, because it is not going to cost you any extra to send these first 4 scores. These first 4 schools, your scores. Tongue twister. After test day, you're going to have to pay $27 per school or per recipient to send your score. That's going to add up really fast. So you want to make sure that you're like, okay, my top 4 schools, I want to send my score. All right, so here are our calls to action. Plan when you're going to take the GRE. We have the application timeline questionnaire and the GRE prep worksheet that you can use. Plan when you will start studying for the GRE. Ask around for GRE study materials. Look up your different codes for the schools you want to apply to and pick your top 4. And save money however you can. So you do these things, you're going to save money. You'll be able to effectively take the test and be prepared for the test. And I'm very confident that you'll be able to do well.